Hello, welcome to History in the Shadows, where we chase the ghosts of glory through time's unlit corridors, the forgotten feuds, the fused faiths, the fierce hearts that hammered India's medieval anvil. Tonight, we traverse the subcontinent's storm-tossed centuries, from Rajput ramparts to Mughal mirages, in a tale spun from the Sultan's scrolls and the Bards' unwritten verses. This chronicle, freshly forged from the embers of erased epics, has never breathed before, a whirlwind of valor and velvet for your vigilant eyes. Ready your rapiers and rosaries, lore lusters, the throne room beckons. Let's start the story. Medieval Indian history in the year 712 CE, as the Arabian Sea churned with the fury of conquered waves, a young Rajput chieftain named Vikram Singh Rathore stood atop the sun-bleached battlements of his ancestral fort in the arid wastes of Rajasthan. The air hummed with the distant clamor of Muhammad bin Qasim's Umayyad hordes, their scimitars glinting like false promises under the merciless Rajasthani sun. Vikram, barely 20, with a jaw carved from the Aravalli granite and eyes fierce as a falcon's strike, gripped his kirpan, the curved dagger of his clan's unyielding code. His father, the late Rao Siha, had fallen at the sack of Debel, his head a grisly trophy on a Sindhi spear. Now, the shadow of Islam crept southward, a tide of turbaned warriors and veiled viziers, bearing not just blades but the exotic allure of algebra and astrolabes. Vikram's world was one of dust devils and dharma. The Rajputs, self-styled fireborn sons of the Kshatriya flame, held sway over patchwork principalities from Mewar to Marwar, their forts jagged teeth against the Thar desert's maw. Alliances shifted like monsoon clouds, Pratiharas to the north, Rashtrakutas gnawing at the Deccan flanks, Polis blooming in Bengal's paddy-veiled peace. Yet unity was a mirage, feuds festered like untreated wounds, brother slaying brother over water wells and wedding veils. Vikram, orphaned and oathbound, had sworn at his father's pyre to forge a bulwark, the Suryavanshi League, a confederacy of Sun clan lords to stem the Saracen surge. His first test came at the ford of the Luni River, where Qasim's vanguard, fierce Jats conscripted from the Punjab, forded the shallows under cover of dusk. Vikram's scouts, camel-mounted shadows with hawk-feathered helms, signaled the alarm with conch blasts that wailed like banshees. From hidden dunes, Rajput archers loosed storms of barbed bodkins, felling horsemen like wheat under scythe. Vikram charged the center, his mare Surya a thunderbolt of barbed bronze, his talwar singing through mail links. For Agni's fire, he roared, cleaving a turbaned emir from shoulder to saddle. The ford ran red, Qasim's probe shattered, retreating to Multan with tales of demon kings of the flame. Word of the victory rippled like a pebble in the Yamuna. Bards in Ajmer's marble halls composed couplets of the Rathore flame, while Vikram's betrothal was sealed to Princess Lakshmi of the Chauhan clan, a union of steel and silk, her dowry a cadre of veiled spies schooled in the Kama Sutra's subtler arts. In their wedding pavilion, strung with marigold garlands and ghee lamps, Vikram whispered vows amid the scent of sandalwood, "We shall weave a Rajput Rajya from sea to snow." Lakshmi, with kohl-rimmed eyes sharp as her hidden stiletto, smiled enigmatically. Or drown the invaders in their own ink. Decades danced by on the balls of bare feet. By 800 CE, under the iron fist of the Gurjara Pratihara Emperor Nagabhata II, Vikram, now grizzled, his beard streaked with henned silver, marched on Kannauj, the Gangetic jewel contested by tripartite titans, Pratiharas, Rashtrakutas, and Polis. The tripartite struggle, that endless quadrille of conquest, saw Kannauj change hands like a courtesan's fan, Pratiharas seizing it in 816, only to yield to Rashtrakuta raiders under Govinda III. Vikram, elevated to Senapati of the western flank, advised a scorched earth ploy, poison the wells with arsenic-laced ghee, lure the Deccan hordes into ambushes where war elephants stampeded into caltropped quagmires. Kannauj held, its gods echoing with Vedic chants, but the cost was a kingdom's granaries stripped bare, famine's skeletal fingers clawing at peasant bellies. From these ashes rose the Chola interlude in the south, though Vikram's gaze seldom strayed beyond the Vindhyas. Yet fate's loom wove wider. His son, Arjun Rathore, born in the shadow of Mihir Bhoj's Elephantine empire, inherited not just forts but a thirst for the stars. Trained in the Gurukuls of Ujjain, where where Brahmin astronomers mapped nakshatras with brass astrolabes, Arjun blended Rajput valor with Pratihara patronage of the sciences. By 836 CE, as Mihir Bhoj's armies humbled the Arabs at the gates of Sindh, Arjun led a daring raid on the Rashtrakuta capital of Manukita, smuggling back Sanskrit treatises on zero and the infinite, gifts from a captured pundit who saw in the young warrior a bridge between blade and bhakti. But empires, like monsoons, ebb and flow. The 10th century dawned with the twilight of Pratihara might, Rashtrakuta Amogvarsha, that poet-king who penned the Kavrajamarga, the first Kannada epic, sacked Kannauj in 916, his mahouts goading tuskers adorned with peacock plumes. Vikram, aged and ailing, passed the mantle to Arjun amid the fort's armory, where racks groaned under Khanda swords and chamfron helms. The wheel turns, Putra, he rasped, pressing a signet ring etched with the Rathore rampant lion. Guard the Dharma, but bend like the banyan. Arjun nodded, his heart a cauldron of clan loyalty and quiet doubt. Whispers from Lakshmi's spies spoke of a new storm from the northwest, Ghazna's horselords, Turkey nomads with eyes on Somnath's golden lingam. The year 1001 CE marked the raid that scarred the soul. Mahmud of Ghazna's cavalry, 5,000 strong, thundered across the Punjab, their minarets on the move belching Greek fire. Arjun, now Maharaja of a shrunken Marwar, mustered 3,000 lancers at the Battle of Peshawar. The field was a slaughterhouse of splintered spears and severed standards. Arjun's charge broke the center, but Mahmud's feigned retreat lured them into a canyon trap, where catapults hurled naphtha pots that bloomed like diabolic diyas. Arjun escaped with a lance gash across his thigh, but Somnath fell the next year, its temple sacked, idols melted for Lahore's mosques. In the aftermath, Arjun founded the Rathore Academy at Jodhpur, a bastion of bhakti and ballistics, where yogis taught tantra alongside Turkish boyars crafting composite recurves. The 12th century unfurled like a lotus in the Ganges. The Chauhan Emperor Prithviraj, that Bard-beloved beau, ascended in Delhi, his veins pulsing with Rathore blood through Lakshmi's line. Arjun's daughter, Rajkumari Mira, no, not that Mira, but her namesake, a fierce archer who spurned Sati for the saddle, wed Prithviraj's brother, binding Marwar to Ajmer. Yet the Ghurid shadow lengthened. Muhammad of Ghor, that wily wolf from the Hindu Kush, probed the passes with Afghan irregulars. At Tarin in 1191, Prithviraj's host, 200,000 by Bardic boast, shattered the Ghurid van. Mira, veiled in chainmail, loosed arrows that felled emirs like autumn leaves. But 1192 brought reversal. Ghor's reinforced ranks, with slave soldiers drilled in feigned flights, enveloped the Chauhan center. Prithviraj fell, eyes put out in captivity. Mira, captured and ransomed, returned to Jodhpur a widow warrior, her ballads of betrayal fueling a century of vendetta. From Prithviraj's pyre rose the Delhi Sultanate, that Turkic transplant grafted onto Hindustani soil. Qutb-ud-Din Aibak, the one-eyed Mamluk freedman, crowned himself in 1206 atop the Qutb Minar's rising spire, a victory pillar mocking the vanquished. The slave dynasty's whip cracked across the north, Iltutmish consolidating from Lahore to Lakhnauti, his daughter Razia Sultana, that trailblazing tigress, ruling from 1236, her throne a tinderbox of sexist spite. Mira's grandson, Hari Singh Rathore, served as Atabeg in Razia's court, his loyalty tested when Mongol hordes under Genghis Khan's grandsons hammered the Khyber in 1221. Hari's fort at Mandore held the passes, his catapults hurling Greek fire borrowed from Ghurid grimoires, buying time for Iltutmish to bribe the Khan with tribute elephants. Razia's reign, a meteor of meritocracy, crashed in 1240, eunuch viziers and orthodox ulama, foaming at the mouth over a queen's Kalamdin, backed her half-brother Muiz-ud-Din to usurp. Betrayed in the Kaithal sands, Razia perished in a hail of arrows, her lover Jamal-ud-Din Yakut slain beside. Hari, disgusted by the Delhi Durbar's daggers, withdrew to Rajasthan, forging alliances with the Vaghela kings of Gujarat, those Chalukya heirs who sheltered Jain merchants and sculpted Dilwara wonders. Under Balban the Ilbari, the Sultanate stabilized, but Hari's spies, eunuch networks echoing Razia's, whispered of southern stirrings. The Hosla Emperor Narasimha II, lion-slaying sovereign of Dwara Samudra, clashing with Kakatiya Gunputty of Varungal over the Tungabhadra's tolls. The 13th century's crescendo was the Khilji crescendo. Jalal-ud-Din Firoz, that octogenarian opportunist, seized the throne in 1290, his nephew Alauddin shadowing like a jackal. Hurry's son, Vikram II, named for the founder, a cycle of flame, traveled to Delhi as envoy, bearing Rajput steeds and saffron veils. At the Siri Fort's feasts, where Nach girls twirled to Dhrupad drums, Vikram II locked eyes with Alauddin's niece, the fiery Kut Begum. Their dalliance was a dance of danger, stolen sherbet sips in rose gardens, coated kites carrying love letters in Devanagari disguised as trade tallies. But Alauddin's ambition was a volcano. In 1296, he massacred his uncle at Kara, mounting the throne in a bath of blood. Alauddin's realm was iron and intrigue, market controls capping grain to feed 40,000 warhorses, standing armies drilled in the Persian paybook. Vikram II, elevated to Mansabdar for his valor at the Ranthambore siege, where Hamir Dev Chauhan held out till 1301, his Jauhar flames lighting the night, led the Mongol repulse at the Ravi in 1306. Hulagu's heirs, those Ilkhanate ilks, shattered on Rajput ramparts, their yurts torched by naphtha arrows. Yet love's ledger balanced cruel. Alauddin discovered the affair, exiling Kut Begum to the harem's heart, her missives smuggled out in henna cones. Vikram II's raid to free her ended in ambush. Wounded, he fled south to the Yadava kingdom of Devagiri, where Ramachandra's court buzzed with Marathi minstrels and Hosla envoys. The Deccan beckoned as Delhi's bane. Alauddin's general Malik Kafur, that Gujarati eunuch with a diamond in his turban, sacked Devagiri in 1307, hauling Ramachandra in golden chains to Siri. Kafur's southern sweep of Aurangzeb in 1309, Madurai in 1311, netted elephants and emeralds, but sowed seeds of secession. Vikram II, healed in a Yogini cave temple where Tantrikas chanted over his scars, wed a Kakatiya princess, binding Rathore blood to Telugu tides. Their son, Arjun II, grew amid the diamond mines of Golconda, learning the Veena from Ganaka courtesans and the Vajra from Shaiva Siddhas. Alauddin's death in 1316 unleashed the Tughlaq tempest. Ghiyas-ud-Din, that canal-digging soldier, built Tughlaqabad's bastions, only for his son Muhammad bin Tughlaq to unleash utopia's folly. In 1325, he shifted the capital to Daulatabad, that Deccan Delhi, dragging nobles on a death march across the Godavari, elephants trampling stragglers. Arjun II, now a Tughlaq emir, protested the purge, his fort at Bidar a haven for exiles. Bin Tughlaq's token currency, bronze coins minted like gold, crashed the bazaars. His Doab tax hikes sparked peasant revolts from Kater to Kondavidu. Arjun II's rebellion in 1327, allying with Bahmani pretenders in the Deccan, carved the Rathore March, a swath from Gulbarga to Golconda, where Sufi Konkas mingled with Virashaiva Vairashalas. The 14th century fractured like flawed jade, the Delhi Sultanate splintered into the Deccan Sultanates, Bahmani wolves howling in the Bijapur night, their Shiite schisms birthing the Adil Shahi and Kut Shahi Hydra. In the north, Firoz Shah Tughlaq's Firuzian idol, canals irrigating the Jumna, Ashokan pillars uprooted for Firoz Shah Kotla, masked the rot. Arjun II's daughter, the poetess Devi Padmavati, echoing the Chitter tale, but her own verse, chronicled the era in Prakrit paeans, her verses smuggled to Vijayanagara's Krishnadevaraya, that Telugu titan who crowned himself in 1509, centuries hence but whispers traveling like monsoon winds. Vikram III, Arjun's heir, navigated the Syed and Lodi interregnums, Timur's 1398 sack of Delhi, that lame Limner's lootfest, leaving the Yamuna choked with corpses. The Lodis, Afghan upstarts under Balal in 1451, wrested the throne, their Doab domains dotted with gumbads and gardens. Vikram III, a Lodi loyalist, quelled the Jaunpur Sharki sultans at the Ganges ford, his cavalry's kettledrums drowning the Timurid echoes. But the south sang a different raga, the Vijayanagara Empire, born from Sangama brothers Sangam in 1336, flowered under the Tuluva dynasty. Harihara II's host clashed with Bahmani at the Krishna in 1377. By Devaraya II's reign in 1425, diamond-hard diplomacy with the Gajapatis of Odisha secured the eastern flank. The 15th century's pivot was the Rajput resurgence. Rana Kumbha of Mewar, that polymath prince, erected the Kumhalgarh Wall, India's Great Wall, snaking 36 kilometers through the Aravallis. Vikram III's kin, through marriage to a Sisodia, served as Senapati in Kumbha's court, their forges hammering matchlocks from Lahore steel. Kumbha's victory over Mahmud Khilji of Malwa in 1437 at the Mahi Sands, where Rajput lancers impaled Gujarati giraffes turned war beasts, preserved Rajasthan's Raj. Yet culture coursed like the Chumbal, Sufi saints like Kabir, weaver of dohas that damned dogma, found patronage in Lodi Lahore, Bhakti bards like Mirabai, that Krishna-crazed Chauhan queen, defied Purta with pirouettes in Pushkar's Ghats. Into this kaleidoscope rode Babur, the Timurid tumbleweed, in 1526. At Panipat's pre-dawn pallor, his Taluma tactics, flanking wagons belching cannon smoke, shattered Ibrahim Lodi's elephants, their mahouts fleeing in pachyderm panic. Vikram IV, great-grandson of the Marchmaker, fought for the Lodis, his Bard charger felled by a matchlock ball. Wounded, he awoke in Babur's tent, the conqueror, that garden-loving litterateur, binding his gash with a Farsi folio. "You fight like a lion in a thicket of thorns," Babur grunted, his Shagatai accent thick as kumis. Vikram, sensing the wind's whim, bent knee, "My sword for your Suba, Padishah." Thus the Rathores entered Mughal service, their forts fiefs under Humayun's harried heir. Humayun's humiliation in 1540, Sher Shah Suri's Afghan avalanche at Chausa, scattered the Mughals to the Punjab fringes. Vikram IV, allying with the Suris, governed Bihar's bazaars, introducing the rupiah, Sher's silver standard that stamped economy eternal. But Akbar's ascension in 1556 reversed the reel. At Panipat's echo in 1556, Hemu Vikramaditya, the one-eyed Hindu hawk, crowned himself Samrat, only for Bairam Khan's cannon to crown him corpse. Akbar, that adolescent Augustus, reclaimed Delhi, his regents summoning Vikram IV to Agra's audience halls, where Navratna pillars gleamed with lapis inlay. Vikram IV's daughter, Noor Jahan, no kin to the later light, but her shadow, entered the harem as concubine, her Rajput runes tattooed beneath henna veils. Her whispers shaped policy. The Ibadat Khenna debates of 1575, where Jesuit padres sparred with Jain Nanis, Zoroastrian Zendas, and Sufi fakirs. Noor advocated for the Rajput Mansabdars, securing alliances with Muir's Uday Singh, whose Chittor Jatra in 1568 saw Akbar's siege end in Jauhar's Holocaust, 13,000 sooty flames, a pyre that scarred the emperor's soul. Vikram IV mediated the treaty, wedding his son Arjun III to a Hatta princess, binding Marwar to Mughal might. Akbar's apotheosis was Dinayalahi, that syncretic sparkle, sun-saluting Sulai-Kul, universal peace blending Vedanta with Wadat al-Wujud. Arjun III, Mansabdar of 10,000, governed Gujarat's ports, where Surat's ships sailed to Ormuz with indigo and ivory. His court at Ahmedabad buzzed with Portuguese polyglots and Armenian apothecaries, but shadows stirred, the Deccan ulama, chafing at Akbar's heresy, plotted with the Kutb Shah of Golconda. Arjun's spies, collide Kanchinis from the Devadasi dens, unraveled the web, averting a poison plot at Fatehpur Sikri's Friday Mosque. The 17th century gilded the cage, Jahangir's jewel-encrusted jaunts, his Jahangirnama chronicling cheetah hunts and cherry blossoms. Arjun III's kin, through Noor's line, rose to Mir Bakshi, overseeing the zapped revenue, Todar Mal's ledger magic that tilled the dobe into Mughal mints. Yet the south seethed, Vijayanagara's eclipse at Talikota in 1565, where Deccan Sultans' confederacy crushed Rama Raya's rays, leaving Hampi a haunt of Howdah ghosts. The Nayak viceroys splintered into Madurai and Tanjore tantrums, their Carnatic courts cradling Carnatic creeds, Tyagaraja unborn, but echoes in Animacaria's Telugu Tirupatis. Shah Jahan's splendor was marble and monsoon. The Taj Mahal, that teardrop tomb for Mumtaz, rose from 1632, its minarets mirroring the Yamuna's melancholy. Vikram V, Arjun's heir, oversaw the Agra arsenal, forging falconuts from Bundelkhand Belmetal. His romance with a Kashmiri courtesan, Zainabadi, echoing Shah Jahan's lost love, fueled a fief in the vale, where tulip gardens bloomed under Timurid topiary. But Aurangzeb's austerity ascended in 1658, the War of Succession, a fraternal bloodbath at Samagar, where Murad's head rolled like a polo ball. Aurangzeb, the Zinda Pir, imposed the jizya on infidels, reimposing orthodoxy that ossified the empire's arteries. Vikram V chafed under the caliphate's clamp. Rajput revolts flared in Newar under Rana Raj Singh, their mahals harboring rebellious Radis. In 1680, the Rathore Rana of Marwar, Ajit Singh, Vikram's cousin, defied the jizya, his forts flying the speckled flag against Mughal marauders. Vikram V, torn, mediated at the Ajmer Dargah, where Khwaja Moinuddin's tomb wept with the weight of compromise. Aurangzeb's Deccan drain, endless sieges against the Marathas' guerrilla ghosts under Shivaji's son Sambhaji, sucked the treasury dry, Golconda's diamonds dimmed in Kut Shah's fall, Bijapur's bombings broken. The 18th century cracked the crown. Aurangzeb's death in 1707 unleashed the Nawabi nebula, Bengal's Murshid Tsuli Khan coining the rupee's rhythm, Awada's Saadat Khan sipping sherbet in Lucknow's Lakhnawis. Vikram VI, last of the line's leonine lords, witnessed the Maratha meteor, Peshwa Baji Rao I's cavalry carving the north in 1738, their Ganamai Kava tactics toppling Mughal mirages at Bhopal. In the south, the Nizam of Hyderabad, Chin Kilich Khan's Asaf Jahi, clashed with the French at Trichinopoly, their Carnatic wars ceding Pondicherry's ports. Vikram VI's finale flickered at the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. Abdali's Afghans, 20,000 strong, pulverized Sadashivrov Bau's Marathas, the Yamuna foaming with the fallen. Vikram, allying with the Peshwa, charged the center, his talwar tasting Durrani blood before a Jaziel ball felled him. His pyre on the field, lit by a Maratha mantri, marked the medieval's mournful midnight, the Mughal smear mayflies, the East India Company coiling like a cobra in Calcutta's Calcutta. From Vikram's first ford to this final fray, the Rathore flame flickered through 5 centuries, a thread in the tapestry of turmoil and transcendence. Medieval India was no monolith but a mosaic, Rajput rigor melding with Sultanate spice, Mughal magnificence marbled with Bakhta's balm. It birthed the Qawwali's quiver and the Kathak's whirl, the miniature's mystique and the madrasa's murmur. Empires rose on elephants' backs, fell to intrigue's ink, yet the subcontinent's spirit, like the eternal Ganges, flowed unbowed. What embers endure? That history's heroes are often the healers, the bards bridging battles, the brides binding bloodlines. That in every siege, shadows hide the saviors. Thank you for marching through the millennia with history in the shadows. If this epic ensnared your soul like a Chauhan charge, like to rally the ranks, subscribe for more shadowed sagas, and comment, which medieval monarch would you dine with? Until the next battle dawn, hold the line, or be overrun.